And what better way than to just, I guess, start a podcast? I mean, isn't that what everybody does these days? Start a podcast? So we're just going to talk some pro wrestling. We're going to talk lucha libre, movies, music, comics, whatever, or anything else that just comes to mind. We're going to talk about it. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can go ahead and just tweet at me at Ray Rosas. You can use the hashtag The Rosas Report or the hashtag TRR if you don't want to spell Rosas Report all the way out, or you want to save some character space. And let me know if any criticism would help. Except bad criticism, where I'll ignore and probably block you and say that you're just hating on me. So, so yeah, I just needed something to vent, needed something to release some creative energy, and I figured that starting a podcast would do it. Well, and so far, as after all my takes from last night, it's yet to be seen. So let's talk about 2015. We're pretty much over. This is going to be the last Wednesday, or the second to last day of the year. Tomorrow would be New Year's Eve, and then 2016, here we come. And listen, and it couldn't come any sooner, man. I'm waiting and ready for 2015 to be over, and 2016 looks to be bright. Because I'm looking back, I was gonna do like a year in review, but I don't know if I wanted to just have the very first podcast to be the year in review. So just add a lot of stuff to talk about, and I'm not sure how much, like I said, how much I wanted to dive into in that. But right now, just kind of, maybe we'll just say it for next week, because I'm not sure how frequent these podcasts would be, if even any more would be, produced after this. I was hoping to do weekly, maybe every Tuesday or Wednesday, maybe bi-weekly, maybe every once in a while. Again, it's just if I have the time. So yeah, 2015, it's over. I would say professionally, I would say it was probably not one of my better years, if not my worst year professionally. It's a lot of different issues were going on, but personally, I thought it was a fantastic year. I had, staying at home, concentrating on my home and my career, because I had a life outside of wrestling, and that was great. But wrestling, I think sometimes you just got to take a step back and really analyze, this whole situation. Because my thing is, like, in the middle of some midpoint of the year, I was really unhappy with wrestling, and if you're not happy doing this, you shouldn't be doing it. And that's something that I've always said, and if you're not happy, quit. And if but I love wrestling, and I've done a lot with it in my life these past 6 or 7 years that I've been in it, and it just seemed like a lot of time invested to just walk away. So I decided that I'm not going to why should I give up on my dream, for dumb reasons. So I decided that I was going to keep wrestling, and I was going to have a better attitude about it, and help people, and that's sometimes you have to take a look at the whole picture here to get a better perspective. But yeah, I went online and I started talking about it, and then I even talked about it in a promo. So again, this is also another part of me just trying to help out the scene, because one of the things I did want to talk about on this podcast was kind of report on the shows that are going on around here, and the talent around here in SoCal, to help maybe hopefully broaden some audiences, because I know some people may not be aware of other shows out of their certain area, or maybe they may not know what's going on. Because every show has their own kind of core audience that they have. Some people prefer the EWF type shows. Other people prefer the UEW type shows. Other people just enjoy strictly lucha libre shows. And that's fine. You could have your own core audience. But I mean, the goal is to draw on more more casual fans and turn them into core fans. So sometimes you got to just step outside the box and step outside your demographic or your area of where you draw, and just talk about it. So so that's what I'm going to do. I was going to kind of help and just report on some shows. So since nothing's really coming up this weekend, since this is New Year's weekend, and smart to do so, I'm going to start reporting on what's going on next week. So we have, from what I have found online, so I do a lot of research on my own here. From what I found online, we have EWF Old School Justice on Friday, January 8th, over in Covina. That is at their EWF Arena. Over there, on I think the address is 4315 North Vincent Avenue. And the ticket cost is $12 for adults and $6 for kids for anybody 12 and under. Over there, they have TJ Perkins making a rare Southern California appearance against Gary Yap's Man in Black. Been loosely following what's going on with Gary Yap and his Man in Black. Seems very interesting. He looks like he's been terrorizing the main event scene there, and has even captured the EWF Championship. So that'll be it's very good to me. I'm almost guaranteeing it'll be very, very good, interesting match. So go check that. I mean, if that doesn't draw you, you got the EWF Tag Team Championships on the line with the Wildsiders taking on Uptown Andy Brown and Adrian Quest. And I've heard a lot of great things about Andy Brown. I've had a couple opportunities to talk with him, hang with him a little bit. He's a great dude. Love to get in the ring with him. I've been in the ring with Adrian Quest before, but this was a long time. He wasn't even Adrian Quest at the time. He was just a young kid. He had to have been like 15 or 16, maybe even younger than that. But he's really coming into his own, and he's got a good head on his shoulders. Also on the card is something that interested me was Che Cabrera, the MIA Che Cabrera. I haven't really seen much of him on any shows lately, taking on Baby Bull. So that'll be a very interesting match. That'll be, as far as I know, a first time matchup. So that'll be a good one for you people there on Friday, January 8th in the Covina area. On Saturday, we have SoCal Pro presenting their New Year's Retribution show. It'll be over there at the Oceanside Boys and Girls Club. Let's see, the address is 401 Country Club Lane in Oceanside, California. $10 tickets for kids and $15 for adults, with the show starting at 7 p.m. The main event of that show will be A Loser Leaves Town as the Rebel Renegades collide. Joe Gamble versus Drew Diz. Not really familiar with these guys' work. I've seen them a couple times on Championship Wrestling for Hollywood. I do like their gimmick, do like the work that they have. So this is interesting to see that them already colliding and having such a absolute stipulation as A Loser Leaves Town. Not very often you see A Loser Leaves Town, so that's going to be interesting as well. Also on the card, we have a SoCal Pro Heavyweight Title 2 out of 3 falls match. SoCal Crazy and Mike Camden. I believe he was Rookie of the Year of this past year, Mike Camden. Also good. It should be a really, really interesting match. I've heard nothing but good things about Mike. And of course, SoCal Crazy is borderline legend, and here in Southern California, I guess the namesake goes without saying. But that should be interesting to watch. 2 out of 3 falls again. Not a very common match. But on the same card as this is like you're guaranteed to get your money's worth. And another interesting match on SoCal Pro is the Wildsiders against Andy Brown and Adrian Quest the second time, but this time for the SoCal Pro Tag Team Championship. So there's an opportunity for one of these teams to walk away with 2 different tag titles from 2 different companies. Because they're facing each other. Yeah. And then we also have the SoCal Pro Wrestling Golden State Champion Anthony Idol taking on Montrose Jungle. Anthony Idol has an incredible gimmick. I love it. I've been a fan of his for a long time, and again, that's someone I'd like to work along with Andy Brown and Mike Camden. I think I even put it out on Facebook recently that was a list of guys I wanted to work. Also on the 9th, we have Pacific Coast Wrestling finally releasing the show. Finally having a show after all the hype and vignettes and pictures and stuff. So they're finally going to be having their show. It's Release the Kraken is what it's called, and it's going to be over at the Oak Street Gym in Torrance. with VIP tickets for $25 and general admission for $15. Their main event they have going for them is the Almighty Sheik versus MVP. Now, these are two guys that are very rare to compete out here in Southern California. I don't even remember the last time the Almighty Sheik has wrestled out here in SoCal. Was it XWW? Might have been an XWW show. Nah, I don't know. Also, we have TJ again, wrestling Scorpio Sky, and that's interesting to see, because Scorpio, you don't see Scorpio Sky wrestling out here too much since he's really started to concentrate on his MMA career. We have the God of War, JR Kratos versus the Golden Boy Dylan Drake. These are both guys that have come out of All Pro Wrestling, Kratos, you might have seen him on Champs Wrestling Hollywood. This may be the first time I've seen Dylan Drake compete out here, at least since I've been wrestling. So he has a Nature Boy-esque type gimmick. I wouldn't say it's a complete ripoff, but it's definitely inspired by it. It's really good. We also have a tag team match of Keepers of the Faith. Gabriel Gallo and Dom Vitelli taking on the Classic Connection, my guys, Levi Shapiro and Buddy Royal. Now, let me tell you about the time that Buddy Royal had competed in the West Coast Cruiser Cup and won his opening match with a headlock takeover. That's correct. The man won a match with a headlock takeover. It's the deadliest headlock takeover in the business. And Levi Shapiro, let me tell you, if you've never seen the Classic Connection wrestle, go ahead and look them up. They're one of my favorite tag teams. They're one of my favorite tag teams to work and watch. And then wrestling the Keepers of the Faith is going to be, I'm guaranteed to be a very old school-esque tag team classic. And I'm trying to do my best not to monotone my voice out when I'm trying to give these. I don't want to report so much as I'm just kind of conversing with it. But oh well. Well, like I said, work in progress. We got Johnny Suave versus Chris Evans filling out the undercard, as well as Rick Luxury taking on Graves. One thing I noticed about this card is that it has a very, very diverse in its talent. I guess if you were to look at it, Scorpio Sky is probably the only SoCal guy on here, because JR Kratos and Dylan Drake are NorCal. Keepers of the Faith, Don Vitelli, more Arizona, as well as Johnny Suave, Chris Evans. Johnny Suave is just relocated out there, and then everybody else is kind of NorCal. So, like I said, it's a good. I like it, the fact that it's a good mixture of talent from different areas on this show out here. Will it help? But will it help to draw? The thing is, you might need some more local guys to help draw the local talent. The local fans, because it's hard. Not to say these guys aren't good and won't draw, but you might need some familiarity for these fans out here. SoCal fans can be very fickle. And then finally, on January 10th, we have Championship Wrestling from Hollywood having their 4th annual PP3 Cup over at the Oceanville Pavilion in Port Hueneme. The PP3 Cup is always an exciting event. I'm not sure how they're going to structure it this time. I think they've had battle royals in the past. They have had actual single elimination tournaments. So, it's going to be interesting to see how they do it this year. Of course, the admission is free for that event, so I encourage anybody to go check it out. Of course, you have my buddy, Pretty Peter Avalon. We have the tag team champions, Cold World, the television champion, main event James Morgan. Of course, you also have Rocky Romero, Eli Drake, Joey Ryan, Yuma, and the rest of Vermin, Hobo, Bateman. You have a lot of top level guys that are going to be putting on a show for you out there, and it's for Percy Pringle the third. You may know him as Paul Bearer from WWE. He was a great guy. I was very lucky to have a chance to work with him a couple times at Championship Wrestling Hollywood, and so this is all so it's especially special. It's especially special. Is that even? It's very special. the PP3 Cup, especially when the winner has a chance to cash in to get a title shot of his choosing. But let's not forget what else is going on that weekend. We also have Lucha Underground going over at Boyle Heights. Lucha Underground. And that goes without, that no need to even talk about it as much, because we've all seen Lucha Underground. We all watch Lucha Underground, so that always kind of and that usually affects the draws for a lot of surrounding shows. So try to plan, people that are trying to make Lucha Underground and all these other wonderful shows, make sure to plan accordingly. But I believe, I'm sure if it's going to be the last taping of this season. There might be one or two more. But if you can, go check out Lucha Underground show. They're pretty fantastic. I've never been to a live taping, but from what I've watched on TV, it looks like a pretty sweet atmosphere. You tell Lucha Libre is really coming to the forefront of pop culture. It was always pretty popular, especially with the masks and all the Mexican wrestling gimmicks. But I think now it's going to be reaching an all-time high, especially with the Lucha Underground leading the charge. So yeah, that's pretty much all the shows that I could find that were happening next weekend, from the weekend of the 8th through the 10th. You have plenty of options to choose through. So if you have a chance to try to make it out there, if you really want to support SoCal indie wrestling, you got to make it out to these shows. Help out the boys, but if you really are a fan of them, try to buy a T-shirt or two, because that really does make them all the difference for these guys. I actually liked how this show turned out. I'm going to give it a listen. Before I'll probably give it one more final check before I actually submit it and post this. If I did, then you're listening to it right now, and I want to thank you for that. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's @RayRosas. Right now, that's my only means of social media. I don't have no Instagram anymore. And again, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, go ahead and just let me know. You can use the hashtag #TheRosasReport or TRR if you're feeling a little lazy. All right, everybody. So we'll see what happens, and see if this one makes air. I want to thank you again for listening. Happy New Year, because if the new episode does air, it'll be sometime in 2016. And be safe out there. No drinking and driving. Watch out for the other guy. Something my dad always told me when I'd leave. Watch out for the other guy. But anyway, watch out for the other guy. Drive safe, be safe, party safe, and have a great time. Thank you very much. Talk to you next time.